Well, here you going, everyone. Josh the Collector Guy. Hope you all had an awesome week this week, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're able to find some awesome cars for your collections. Hope you had an awesome week. Well, this is my lot of finds this week, ladies and gentlemen. Went to my bi-monthly Diecast Meet just yesterday. Let me get my words right. Went there with Dad, had heaps of fun, managed to score some really awesome cars and a few rare ones in the mix as well, but we shall get to that just in a second. Let me start off with my sole flea market find for this week. Dad and I, usual Sunday morning ritual, we go to the flea markets. Only went to one this week, and second week in a row I've actually found something, so I'm pretty happy with that. Happens to be an old Ferrari Testarossa, old colour racer, and she's in pretty decent shape as well, might I say. She's got the white and red interior, one of many different interior variations for this particular Ferrari Testarossa colour racer, so I'm pretty happy with that. Pretty nice looking car as well, but Ferrari always make really nice cars, and scored her for a wallet busting $2, so I was pretty happy with that. Very nice indeed. Do love the old Ferraris. So pretty happy with that. Another colour racer to the collection. Now on to the stuff from my bi-monthly Diecast Meet. Went there yesterday with Dad. Saw my mad mate again for probably the third week in a row, but always good to see him, have a laugh and a chat. And saw many other mates of mine as well and did the same thing, had a good laugh and a chat, which is one of the best things about the hobby. You meet so many great people and also met some new people as well, which is another good thing about the hobby. There's always different people you always meet every time you go out hunting for the stuff and that. And as always with the Diecast Meet, lots of fun, always awesome diecasts as well. So let's get stuck into it. We'll start off with these old Matchboxes just over here. I keep moving around. Got the old, Richard Petty colours, the old STP colours, very distinctive in NASCAR. You can always tell it's a Richard Petty car with those colours. Got the old Chevy van here. These came out in the 90s. There was a truck, but I think the guy I bought it off actually kept it for himself, but that doesn't matter anyway. I'm still happy with these two, and the old Pontiac Grand Prix. That one's very, very cool indeed. Always nice bright colours as always on Richard Petty cars. You can always tell if it's either his or one of his team cars with these old colours, because I think he's pretty much had STP with him for pretty much most of his racing career, you could say. I do like Richard Petty. He is one of my favourites, but all-time favourite, everyone probably knows, or no one probably does know, is Dale Earnhardt. He'll always be my most favourite NASCAR driver, and I do like Dale Jr., of course, as well. So I'm quite happy with them. The seller knows I love my NASCAR stuff, and he offered them to me, and was happy to take them off his hands and add them to my collection, so I was quite happy with that. On now to the Hot Wheels stuff, and you can probably see some rare ones already, but we'll start off with the carded ones at the back just here. Got another carded speed machine. I was rapt to find this one off my mad mate, the old Vet van, one I've been after for a while as well. Actually, first speed machine Vet van for the collection happens to be a carded one. Who would have thought? You always seem to think a loose one would come first over a carded one. So I've always wanted this car, finally glad to add it to the collection. And I'll go on about the story about the old speed machines. They were cheaper versions of the Hot Wheels, but they weren't marketed as Hot Wheels. It was by Mattel, and they were just called speed machines. And even on the bases of the cars, it doesn't say Hot Wheels anywhere, but they did use Hot Wheels castings, as a lot of you probably know already. And look at the old back, it's got the old Z-Wiz on there again. That one's a pretty cool one as well. Wouldn't mind finding one of them, but they're quite hard to find, those old Z-Wizzes. And I know there's a Tampo variation in it as well, and there's a bit of a price difference between the two, I would imagine, but the old Z-Wiz seems to be quite a popular car nowadays as well. So I'm very happy with the old Vet van. Absolutely adore that casting to bits. Didn't make it for quite long either. I know they made the Iron Man one, the black variation of it, and the normal mainline run of the High Raker one in red. So I don't think there's too many floating around anymore. And some lucky person back in the day got it from Montgomery Ward for 59 cents. What an absolute bargain, because they've got skyrocketed heaps nowadays because they're so sought after. On to another real rider to add to my collection, the almighty split window 63 Corvette. And that didn't have a white hub, well, the black white hub variation for the collection. I do have a yellow, well, a metallic yellow grey hub carded version. I do have a white hub one loose as well, and many other black ones with the grey hubs loose as well, but never had a carded one. I've always wanted a carded one. Finally glad to add one to the collection. Got this off my mad mate too, and something I've only just discovered. It's from Montgomery Ward as well. So that's pretty cool. I assume that's a retailer over in the US, or maybe was a retailer over in the US. Back of the card there as well. So very proud to have her in the collection now. I've always wanted it. Always good to mark the Holy Grails off the list, which I did yesterday as well. There's plenty here in the mix. I've marked off the Holy Grail list. Starting off to the left here, another speed machine, the Old Vagabond. Now, I probably did say before, a lot of the speed machine castings, most of them did have plastic bases. Well, the Old Vagabond didn't, and I think the top Eliminator didn't either. I can understand why with a funny car, because they'd probably snap quite easily. That's probably why they did it die-cast still, but the interior where the driver sits is not there, so that was something they cut back on. Obviously costs and that, they tried to make them as cheap as they could, and it certainly does show in some of the cars, as I said, with the plastic bases and missing interiors maybe for some of them, like the old funny cars here. But the Old Vagabond, this one's always been on my most wanted list. Could never find it, always missed out or didn't worry about it because the price was too dear. But yesterday was the day I finally scored one for the collection, and would you believe this is the second Vagabond in my collection. I have the orange first release in the Real Rider, and that's it. This is my second one, so I'm very, very happy with that. Love my Vagabonds to bits. Quite hard to find as well, and would love to find more though in the future, but the saga continues on that one. So that one's really cool. Love the old drag racing stuff. I love my drag racing. Oh, little Chevy Monza. Now this is another one what's been on my most wanted list with the BP Tampo. Was lucky enough to score a carded orange Chevy Monza made in France. This one is made in France, hence the BP Tampo on the top, because a few of the French-made Hot Wheels back in the day, I would say back in the very early 80s, a few of them did have the BP Tampo on it. I assume it might have been something to do with a gas station. I'm not really too sure on that. I'll have to research that a bit more, but it was also produced just basic without the BP Tampo, and this one's been on the most wanted list for a while. I did see one from a German seller for around maybe $67, so I was glad I didn't bid on that, because I certainly paid a lot less for this one, so I'm very happy with that indeed. I love my French-made Hot Wheels, and the quest will continue to find more for the collection. The old Renault Le Car here. This one has been a car I've had my eye on as well. It's always been a car I would love to have found, but could never get my hands on it, because I'm pretty sure on eBay you couldn't find it, and if you did it'd be quite expensive. Made in France, this one as well. Love these old little Renault Le Cars. They're such a cool little car, cool little hatchback. And the old Renault 5 Maxi Turbo, I think I'm saying the name correctly, which is an old rally car. I highly recommend you look it up, even look at pictures, because it's such a beautiful, beautiful car. It's so awesome. The engine was in the back as well. I think it was a good rally car. I'm not really sure. I'll have to research that, won't I? But that's always been a car what has stuck in my mind, but I could never really think of the name in it. But yeah, it's such a cool car anyway, and I do like these little Le Cars as well. Very nice indeed. As you can see, the bumper's broken off unfortunately, but still happy to add her to the collection. She's a good filler. And there's also one with the Le Car Tampo on the side as well. So I'm very, very happy with that one. And this little guy here probably has to be my first 1/64th scale Mexican car in the collection, because I do have hot shots and I believe a lot of them were made in Mexico. And as you can see, there's a stamp just here where it says, I assume it says Hecho Mexico. Do correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm saying any part of that incorrectly. So I'm very happy with that. The old sandwich. It's a pretty cool looking car, very aerodynamic. Yeah, it's just a really cool little car. At first I wasn't a big fan of it when I pretty much first got into the Hot Wheels and started buying Redlines, because I always thought it was a really common car, but over time it's grown on me, and why wouldn't I like it? It's an old Hot Wheel. I certainly snapped out of that quick. It's really grown on me. I'd love to find more, because it almost looks like a concept race car as well. It's just got the plain enamel red paint and plain black walls as well, and I believe she was released in the 80s as well. So very, very happy with that. Something I probably will never find again. And these two here, I definitely know that's an Indian one, and as far as I'm concerned, the seller did tell me that might be an Indian one as well, because there's no Mexico or France printed in on the base. The old Dream Van XGW. And I am extremely happy to have this one in the collection as well, because I've never ever seen one like it before. So even on eBay, I know a few sellers now and again by chance might upload Indian cars, but they always sell for big money, because the Indian stuff always seems to be that little bit extra harder to find. And I know in my Tom Mart's books they don't have prices on them at all. This one's just plain black walls with enamel blue paint and a pretty cool little tamper on the side, so that one's pretty cool. I do like these old Dream Vans, such a cool casting. And I did say this one is Indian because I have seen it on eBay listed as an Indian made Hot Wheel, and I think I've only seen two on eBay, and I've seen a carded one. I think how some Indian carded ones were, the blister was a little bit shorter on some of them, and some of them were this size here, as you can see, like your normal standard Hot Wheel card. As I said, I have seen two, and it's always stuck in my mind, and I've always thought I would love to have one of them in the collection, and yesterday was the day I added one to my collection. As you can see, it is a Chevy Monza, but it's got an Olds 442 tampo on the side, and we all know what that tampo belongs to. The old flat out 442 just up there. So, as you can see, with the Indian stuff, they probably didn't have much of a budget to produce them, and they just pretty much got tampos from pretty much any casting and just stamped it on the car to have a run of cars. And I do have a carded GMC Motorhome Leo, which is Indian as well, which is just there. I managed to score that off my bad mate at the start of the year, so that's my other Indian Hot Wheel in the collection. And these two rounded off as, I believe, 3. I don't think I've got any others, maybe 4 I would say, but very proud to have this one in the collection. She certainly will be going on my vintage Hot Wheels General Motors shelf just behind me. She is certainly one of the rarest cars, I would say, which is in my collection to date. So very, very proud to have her in the collection. Was so glad I managed to find some holy grails for my collection. Now, last but not least, the front row just here, which pretty much consists of Redlines, but we'll get to the old Corvette colour racer here, the old 63, well, split window 63. Got that off my mad mate. In absolute mint condition, because I think it was a blister pull, and I literally mean it was a blister pull. So that one's really awesome indeed. Now on to the Redlines. We'll start off from this side. Got the old Silhouette with the foggy glass. That one was a pretty cheap find. And the green, and I don't think I've got it in green, and it actually looks Aqua on camera, but do take my word for it, it is green. Got two little custom Corvettes here, and they're a little bit beaten up, but the seller threw them in, and I was pretty happy, and discovered on my vintage Hot Wheels General Motors shelf just behind me that I don't have either of these variations, so they're good fillers just for the moment. I know a lot of sellers probably wouldn't look at them twice, but the old beaters have the character, don't they? And as I will say, my famous words, you can't beat the beaters. That one's really awesome in the blue with a brown interior, and this one's olive with the brown interior. That one's really cool. And olive, I believe, is quite a hard car to find in pretty much any colour, I would say, because olive wouldn't be a car a little kid would buy. I know back when I was a kid, I probably would have took a blue one over an olive one any day of the week. And the old gold custom Eldorado, this pretty much is my 11th different variation of the custom Eldorado in the collection. So my 10 others are all different in each and every way, so I'm pretty proud about that. And I haven't seen gold before either, so I'm very happy with it. I think it's a bit toned a little bit, but the gold is a really nice colour, I have to admit. And last but not least, probably one of my favourite scores from yesterday, and everyone knows I adore my Camaros to bits. The old custom Camaro in Aqua with the brown interior and Hong Kong base. Now, I've got 3 other Aqua variations of the custom Camaro. This is the 4th different Aqua variation of the custom Camaro, so each one I have is different in its own way, so I'm very happy with that. And I think I've got, well, I know I've got over 10 custom Camaros in the collection now. I must count. I know I counted before the video, but I completely forgot. So very, very happy with that one indeed. And as I said, do take my word for it, it is Aqua. It probably comes up blue on the camera, but... And actually I almost forgot the old super van from the Dynamite Crossing Set. Now this one was quite puzzling, and this is why I picked it up, because that car came in the set of the Dynamite Crossing. Now I'm not sure how it would have been in the set. I'm not sure if it would have been on a card like this, or it would have been loose. I assume it would have been maybe loose in a baggie maybe, but nowhere on the card it says super van. And on the back as well, I assume back in the 80s they had barcodes and that, so it must have came in the box like that. So I probably answered half my question. Got the old turbo tracks on there. That's an awesome set. And another thing what got me intrigued was that it was printed and packaged in Australia. Now you wouldn't find that in the US, of course, or England, so that was why, another reason why I picked it up. And I do like the old super van with the A-Team decal. So I reckon that's a pretty rare find for the collection. Maybe it probably came in the set like that, I'm not really sure. Some guys out there probably know a bit more than I do about this one, so feel free to comment if you do know, but very happy with it nevertheless. Because I don't think I've got a mint one in the collection, so that one's really awesome. And I love the old 80s cards as well. Really awesome indeed. But that's pretty much the video for this week, ladies and gentlemen. 18 minutes. Oh boy, I better stop now. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I really do appreciate your views, your comments, your likes, and your subscriptions. Thank you very much. That's why I keep doing my videos, because it brings me such joy sharing my finds each and every week, and all you guys and girls nice comments out there. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. That's it for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching, and remember, as always, everyone, happy hunting. Keep the hobby strong. See you later, everyone. Have an awesome week.